This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd Skool.
Yeah.
Suck it, nerd! Suck it, nerd! Suck it, nerd!
Visit me, daddy ass.
Welcome to Nerd Skool.
My name is Low-Key. Welcome to the Nerd Skool podcast. You jerk.
All right, so Thanos shows up
episode.
from the past.
Welcome back, guys, to
Oh.
episode 2 or 3 of Endgame, which is also 100
part
episodes of Nerd Skool Chaos.
Indeed.
It is indeed our 100th episode. And so because it's a special, spectacular episode, we've got all kinds of things in store for you, right, guys?
Yeah.
Girls?
Party
Do we?
hats. Party hats for
These things?
everyone. Party hats for everyone.
We're going to chill.
Woo woo woo. Party hats. Party hats for everyone.
We got party hats. And to get your party hat sent to you, party hat, to get it sent to you, just
Party hat.
Instagram message us your address
Who's making these party hats?
and a picture of
Goodness.
yourself from the waist down.
No. Someone's going to take that clip one day. One day we're going to grow and someone's going to take that exact clip, Joe.
Like
Okay.
those guys are very problematic. They're very
Yeah, that is
problematic.
probably. If your name is Hunter Brame and you would like a party hat, send us a.
What if like
We're going to get you to stop saying everyone's first and last name without
yeah, that's
permission,
right.
sir.
Just Hunter. Hey man, you mess with the bull, you get the horns, and he was giving.
But
us
he's
all
not
shit.
the only person you've done that to. I feel like we have to start having consent forms just in
KG,
case
the
Joe will
rage
say your
cage. Yeah, I did that with the cage. It's just the ticketing department. I think Hunter's upset that we take so long to get into the movie.
Yeah, we talked about it, but the chaos is who we are.
That's true. So
chaos.
too bad for you. What other kind of prizes should we get? Is it prizes or do we have special guests? I think we have special guest comedian on the show tonight, Bob Newhart, who's still alive, 90-year-old comedian Bob Newhart, 90 plus.
Yes, because if he was coming back to life, this is the exact show he would do.
He would want to do the Nerd Skool podcast.
Hi.
Oh,
Bob
it
Newhart.
is. It is Bob Newhart.
Hi.
Bob Newhart. Are
Hi,
you
everybody.
are you upset about Tom Poston dying?
Yeah, he was he was a friend.
That's a pretty good Bob Newhart impression. And now joining us is Ron Glass from Barney Miller is also here.
Hi everybody, I'm Ron Glass from Barney Miller.
Wait a minute,
I'm also here.
That doesn't sound anything like Ron Glass. All right, the 100th episode, you've got impressions. You've got Andy impressions. That's done.
I think Ron Glass is actually dead.
Is Ron Glass dead?
I might be
Oh,
wrong.
Let's find out if Ron Glass died. Check in to the Nerd Skool podcast. Oh, he died at age 71.
Oh man, this
Oh,
is
and
hilarious.
He's got the same birthday as me. He died November 25th, 2016. So he's been dead for a while. Dang it. So Ron Glass cannot be on the podcast. He'll never be a guest on the Nerd Skool podcast.
What are you talking about? He was just here. Didn't you hear his voice?
This is the Nerd Skool podcast where we just name every celebrity who's
I
dead.
love how you keep saying this is the Nerd Skool podcast, and we've not even like we've started, but not even started. It's
Well,
just like the most.
It's like we
It's
we
not
just
even.
can't-
It's not even a tangent anymore. It's just like the most random stuff that's happening right now.
But Bob
just-
Newhart is still alive.
Well, I'm trying to add things to our 100th episode that are bonus things. Bonus knowledge.
No, what would be a bonus for our listeners is
Yeah.
if we actually did what normal podcasters do and get into our content.
Oh, we could get. Oh, you mean jump back into where Rocket just gave that speech to Thor?
We left off at a certain point.
I think that's where we
We
left
just
off.
crashed. Crash came. We left after the crash.
I don't think I thought we were already at the point where they brought everybody back, and then Thanos' army from the past showed up to blow the shit out
Did
of
we
the
get that
Oh,
far?
that's right. Oh yeah,
Avengers
we got
I
Tower.
to.
thought right before that.
Avengers Tower got dropped on them.
Yes, Hulk, War Machine, Rocket, and Ant-Man are trapped deep under the rubble. That's right. Yeah, they're
That's
all
where we
stuck
stopped.
under the rubble.
That's
That's
what
right.
I said.
Yeah, that's what you said. That's what TBJ says. She's right.
I'm sorry.
I just had highlighted from
I'm
the
not
previous
always
episode.
right. But I am a lot of right most of the time.
Yeah, everybody was stuck under the rubble. We just had to leave it there because we're almost pretty much done.
Except the big climactic giant fight scene
We're
of
about to get to that. Yeah.
that everyone has been waiting for since Thanos first showed his purple face at the end of the first Avengers movie.
Well, the thing is, they're all under the rubble, and they need Hawkeye to save the day. So that's not going to work because that guy sucks.
Hey, no Hawkeye slander this so soon. Not this soon.
Well, he's being pursued by these Thanos' alien dogs, right? And
I like that she's not outlawing it. She's just saying
yeah, not yet.
It's too early for.
We
Hawkeye
just
slander.
started for him. Like I don't
Joe-
accept the slander,
Joe
but
has
Joe's
a-
gonna do it regardless.
He has a GeoCities page called I Hate Hawkeye.
GeoCities.
Yeah, it's in Area 51 of GeoCities. That's where my site was. All right, so Hulk, War Machine, Rocket, and Ant-Man are trapped deep under the rubble. Hawkeye finds
And,
the
like,
Infinity Stones, but he's immediately pursued by Thanos' alien dogs.
But I really like this bit where they're all trapped in the rubble, and it feels desperate. All of it,
It's
this
a
is the
panic.
most desperate we've ever seen Rocket.
Yeah.
He's like
I can't
panicking,
breathe. I
can't
can't
breathe.
breathe. Yeah.
He's like, as the water starts to rise, you can hear him like starting to cry, like he's not ready to go. And
Yeah.
like
This was
all of
very
his
uncomfortable.
hard ass posturing is just gone. And I think that's an interesting thing. Like that whole sequence gets overlooked a little bit. That whole bit where like the Hulk is holding up everything, and
Mhm.
Don Cheadle's got to crawl out of the suit of armor.
Yeah, Don Cheadle's having trouble too. Then Ant-Man's like, I can save you, but then nobody really knows what he's gonna do.
And they can't find him. And he's trying to get to them, but he's real tiny.
Yeah.
And then comes Hawkeye finding the gauntlet and all the psycho monsters that we saw from Infinity War, who like were so psycho that they just slammed into the shield and killed themselves just to try to get through it.
Yeah. At this point, I'm thinking Hawkeye can't save the day. That's what I'm thinking. But then Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man emerge to fight Thanos. And the Mad Titan laughs as he fights, noting that the heroes have brought the stones together for him, and that he will use them to this time wipe out all life and then create life anew in his image, life that will not rebel against his will. Which is kind of a smart idea. I was like, why didn't you do that in the first place, jackass? We never had dealt with any of this.
I'm mad you were like, why didn't you do this in the first place? Why didn't you wipe out all kinds of beings in the first place?
And then recreate them as his little minions. And
that's not what we want. We did not want him to have that idea.
no, we don't want him, but it would have been smarter if he did. Hawkeye defeats the dogs and unknowingly hands the Infinity Stones to past Nebula, who goes to give them to Thanos because he thinks it's current Nebula. Little does he know there's two Nebulas. How would he know? He's just a dumb guy who doesn't have any powers.
But is that because he, as you say, is just a dumb guy who doesn't have any powers?
Yeah.
Like he's not a telepath, so he wouldn't know that it's not her,
Spider-Man
right?
would know. His Spidey sense would tingle. His Peter
Maybe.
tingle.
Maybe not. Maybe it would have tricked his spider sense.
You just call it the Peter Tingle again.
I did. That's what she calls it. Aunt May calls it that, the Peter tingle.
You're jumping ahead.
Oh, sorry. Foreshadowing. Anyway, before she can get to her father, though, because Nebula's going to give the stones to him, she's confronted by past Gamora and present Nebula, and they try to reason with past Nebula to no avail. Present Nebula then shoots and kills her past self. This seems to have no impact on the timeline, though, so I guess Back to the Future isn't correct.
But it has an impact on me because can I point out the small detail of the tear drop?
Yeah. So did you get emotional at this point, TBJ?
Yeah, there's so much in that sister dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's kind of heartbreaking. Well, listen, this whole movie was hard for me, but little scenes like that.
Yep. Yeah, they're again, just goes to show these they hire good actors in these things for a reason.
Yeah. And that's a nice metaphor for Nebula killing off the person she used to be
Yeah.
to become the person she, I guess, something closer to what she wanted to be.
Way to
Thanos
bring the
had never
poetry, Andy.
got involved in her life.
Hawkeye then notes that with the time machine destroyed, they cannot return the Infinity Stones. Thanos, even without the Infinity Stones, is more than a match for the heroes. He stands over Thor, about to stab him when he is hit by someone who has lifted and thrown meow meow at him.
Do you remember? I wanted to ask you, Joe. Do you remember?
Wait a minute.
Before when everyone was trying to lift Mew Mew and
nobody could, but Cap could kind of.
No, he could, but he was kind of hiding it a little bit. You remember that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, Age of Ultron. They were all taking bets on who could lift it, and Cap was the only one that was able to nudge it.
Yeah, he nudged it a little, but he didn't lift it, right? But that made
no.
Thor nervous because they showed Thor and he kind of was like, "What?"
Yeah, Thor noticed. No one else noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious when that happened. I was like, does Joe remember that?
Oh, I totally did. Totally when this happens. Like, and then it's like, I knew it. You know, it's like, yeah, I totally remember that.
So you just like Thor was like, I knew it. You got really excited. You got a nerd bone.
Yeah, I did. I did have a nerd boner for that because I was like, oh my God, he lives there. Yeah. And especially Handy at this point because now they both have hammers.
And everybody, all the nerds were waiting for that moment.
And you could hear the boners in the movie theater if you saw them.
Yeah.
Boing,
there
boing,
was
boing,
a
boing, boing,
simultaneous
boing.
sproing.
Thor looks over to see who was worthy enough to wield his hammer and sees that it is Captain America. And he says, ha ha, I knew he could do it. Captain America uses meow meow and its lightning powers to gain a temporary advantage. But Thanos soon recovers, shatters Captain America's shield, and beats the hero up. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, if Thanos, they really went a long way to make sure Thanos was a good big bad because he can overcome Thor's meow meow and fuck with Cap's shield. So it's almost like, is he really that? They didn't make him that powerful, but I guess they have.
Yeah, it's almost like watching Hela crush Mjolnir, right?
Yeah,
so
I guess
like
that's true.
These are things that are supposed to be somewhat indestructible. And to have them like easily, like literally, Thanos almost like just took a Cap shield and made it like a fortune cookie, right? It was nothing for him to break that shield.
Fortune cookie.
Well, it took some doing, but I love. We kind of skipped over that whole bit where he shows up and he lands and he's like, "I'm just gonna wait." He just like puts his staff in the dirt and just sits there like looming, like, and then all three of them. Yeah. When he's sitting there going, when he's giving his little speech.
They first.
And the three of them walk out and they're like, it's a trap. I don't much care. But they sort of approach him and he gives his little speech. And that's big bad shit.
Yeah.
This is the big bad villain done right. And Marvel has been a little hit and miss with the MCU with some of the villains. But they put everything into this guy. And he feels like a weighty, like for a CG creation, his weight feels real.
Well, I know it's been a while, a long time coming. It's been built up for a while, Thanos here, but were nerds originally kind of surprised that this was picked as like the first big bad in the MCU, Thanos? Because I guess he's not the first.
No, technically Loki was.
Oh, yeah, I guess Loki was, but this sort of, I feel like this is culminating. I guess it's not all over. There's more MCU after this, but is he just this phase's big bad then? Phase 3? Phase 4?
Well,
phase
he's
3?
the big bad of the whole first 3 phases.
Like the first 3 have been building up to him. There's been other bads, right? But he's the big, I guess, just because like, I don't know that I had heard of Thanos before MCU came around.
Most regular folks hadn't.
Okay, that's my question. Yeah.
If you're a Marvel nerd and you saw his purple face at the end of that and that line of it's court to challenge them is to court death, nerds went nerds.
So is that kind of what gives MCU some street credits? They're picking villains that aren't just typical Oh, it's not the Joker, or it's not
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
whatever
Marvel
the-
didn't have a whole lot of famous guys, and plus they didn't have the rights to guys like Doctor Doom, which they might have started off with if they did at the time. They had to. It
So
was a
Doctor Doom
while.
was that Sony also a Sony thing? Or is
No,
that
Fox. Fox had the Fantastic Four rights and the
Oh.
X-Men rights, and then eventually Marvel or Disney just bought Fox and got the rights back
Yikes.
rather than negotiate with them, or bought Fox's entertainment arm because they were
The big giant evil machine that Disney is, right?
somewhat, yeah.
That does no good for anyone.
It's all coming out in the wash. But but Thanos was like the cosmic villain, and the fact that they went cosmic so quickly was really I mean, that got people excited. That got the nerds excited, and then that excitement, I think, poured off into everybody else,
Yeah.
like who had to turn to people at the end of Avengers and went, "Who's that guy? Let me tell you about Thanos."
Well, I think it's good they went cosmic because then they can do, you know, they introduce the multiverses, then they can do anything with casting anytime, anywhere, and redo everything, which is super helpful with what happened with Jonathan Majors.
Yes, Jonathan Majors found guilty and immediately fired as Kang. So, and I believe the title of Avengers: The Kang Dynasty has now been reverted to Avengers 5. So they might do a hard pivot away from Kang.
Well,
So
I
he
think
might-
even before Jonathan Majors was getting fired, or before the outcome of what happened, I feel like Marvel at some point was going to switch up anyway, because it was already like Kang had been hitting hard anyway. Like, you know,
So-
they kind of built a little bit up to him, but it wasn't like to make a rhyme. It wasn't like Kang wasn't like bang, right? It wasn't like, oh shit, Kang's coming, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do with this? Do we have all this? And then because of the fact that we know that the X-Men are out there, we know that the Fantastic Four are out there. We're like, you know, Joe mentioned cosmic. Like, you got Fantastic Four, and then how Andy, you were just sitting there saying Marvel didn't have, I mean, Disney didn't have the rights to Fox yet, so they didn't have Doctor Doom. Like Doctor Doom, which is where I think they'll settle on. Like Doctor Doom is a bigger bad, kind of sort of like Thanos that they can build. Like Kang has had dealings with, you know, different people throughout the Marvel universe that we're seeing now. But I feel like Doctor Doom is like, you know, you get that megalomaniac. Like Kang's never been, to me, never seemed like a megalomaniac, right?
Kang, like his whole deal was, I mean, Kang is inherently complicated. And to do a Kang story, you have to introduce multiverses and time travel and all sorts of crazy shit that kind of, on one hand, is really kind of fun to see all the different variations and all the ways they can sort of bend your brain. But it also sort of has a side effect of kind of cheapening the down to earth stuff. Like, how invested can you get in, you know, like Sam Wilson's Captain America journey when you're seeing all the giant like his reality doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things when like the Loki series and stuff. So I mean, Marvel Comics have gotten away with that. You can do both kinds of stories, but establishing that in the MCU has been a little trickier. I don't think Kang
also Marvel Comics has more to play with, right?
Yeah.
So like you can have like we're having this, whereas MCU, like for all intents and purposes, we're on a timeline, right? So it's not like, you know, we're like multiple branches, whereas like in the comics, you can have multiple branches. Here, everything leads to one fixed point. So
right, and Marvel there's new comics out every week.
Right.
And so they can bounce back and forth between everything. But
here, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and there's so much put into these movies and they have to hit. And Kang hasn't been hitting. I don't know if Kang has quite the same wow factor for nerds that like Thanos did.
Well, and it's also the product of the times, right? Because nothing's hitting right now. You know, they're in kind of a slump. Like it was the Marvels, the lowest grossing, whatever. The TV shows aren't doing well.
I wouldn't call it a slump. I think when we say not doing well, we also have to take into perspective what that looks like compared to other.
Yeah, I mean,
compared to
like
what?
the
Others?
Marvel's box
like
office
other
was.
movies.
Yeah.
Sort of like how like Napoleon, like I think I shared an article with you, and I might have talked to TBJ about it. But like how they was sitting there saying like the male dominated movies that came out not too long or around the same time as the Marvels supposedly did well, even though they didn't make as much money as the Marvel. But because the Marvels is Marvel, you're expecting
Because they're expecting bigger.
Right. So if it's not a $300 bank, $300 million bank, it did
No, $300. They have to make at least $300
Bigger,
to be
bigger
considered a
doesn't
success.
always mean better in
Right.
return.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, I wonder if you compared, like, the budget to it. So it's like, surely didn't pay the actors in the
They're
Marvels
fine with
the
their
amount
budget. They're making
yeah,
money.
they're still making hand over
we-
fist, right?
No, they're making plenty of money. If you pay attention, it's overall fine, but you also have to look at the time. The world is trash. So movie going experiences and who's going is a different world.
Yeah.
So I would never call them a slump. Nothing is slumping at the moment for them. It's just that we're so used to things like Endgame. You can't compare future movies to that. This experience was one kind of thing. All Marvel movies aren't going to be that one kind of thing.
You're right. It's like Kadeem Hardison, a different world. Anyway.
Sure.
Kadeem Hardison, please be a guest on Nerd Skool if you're listening, Kadeem. You're all of our favorite actors. We all got together and met each other actually through our mutual love of Kadeem Hardison.
I stand it, so
you what?
Let's do it.
You love Kadeem Hardison?
Yes. I stand a different world. That whole show was everything.
Oh man, Whitley.
Now, is the origin of the term "stan" to mean like you really like something? Is that from that Eminem song about the psycho stalker? Okay.
No, but it's like I'm a fan.
I think Stanley Spornak. Well, a lot of people don't know Stanley Spornak was on an episode of Golden Palace, the spinoff of Golden Girls with Don Cheadle and Cheech. Anyway, Thanos' warships, speaking of Cheech, Thanos' warships land and his army, including his Black Order.
Stanley Spornak. Thanos' warships.
Spornak's warships land and his army, including his Black Order, invade. And Thanos says that while his conquests to date were impersonal and guided by his desire to create a better universe, he will now take pleasure in destroying this world. All looks over when, in the background, a portal is being opened by a revived Doctor Strange. How's that possible? A huge battle ensues between Thanos and his army, and the revived heroes killed by Thanos' return. I
think my favorite part of everyone coming back, though, is the first inkling that we have that Cap has that someone's coming to the rescue is his old military.
Yeah.
We're losing TBJ all together.
Cracking up a bit. But I think what she's talking about is the on your left bit. The suddenly Sam Wilson's in his earpiece. I don't know how they connect all their comm units so easily.
Magic.
But yeah.
Movie
I guess,
magic.
Doctor Strange and Wong are involved, so they can do that. But
the on your left bit is from when he's running Cap was running
Did you
around
not
him.
Catch that?
I don't know that. I don't know that there was so much happening at this point that I remember like, oh, that reminds me of something, but it was just such a quick moment that I don't think I had time to remember that until I was like, what is on your left? I know it's a thing they had together, but now all of a sudden I'm remembering.
It's a call back to the beginning of
when Cap was
when they first
lapping him. Yeah. Well, this synopsis gives us a list of all those in the battle. Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, Anthony Mackie being the first out of the portal, like Charlie Mack, he's the first out the portal and saving Captain America. King T'Challa, aka Black Panther.
But there's a bit right before this that is kind of right from the comics in that they're all beat down. Thanos is gloating and standing over them. The wave of armies is coming through, and Steve fucking Rogers still stands up.
Yeah.
He's the only one left standing. He cinches his broken shield to his arm.
Yeah.
And he's still going to fight. And that
he's from Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn.
Yeah. and then there's a whole bit. I can't remember exactly which issue or comic it's from, or which I think it's the Infinity Gauntlet thing. But there's like Cap is like the last one standing against Thanos, and everyone knows Thanos could destroy him easily. But he makes some speech about how like as long as there's one person left to oppose you, you will never win entirely. Something like that. I don't remember how it goes, but there's a moment in Marvel history where Cap stands alone against Thanos, and this was a great way to bring that into the MCU.
Yeah, even though he's just this tiny old guy. Anyway, so Sam Wilson, Black Panther, Valkyrie riding her winged horse and leading the Asgardian forces and Meek and Korg into battle. Black Panther's got Shuri and Okoye leading the warriors of Wakanda, including M'Baku. They got Winston Duke. Winston Duke agreed to do this movie. Came to the battlefield. And then Winter Soldier also arrives with those guys. Wong leading all the sorcerers on the battlefield. Ant-Man going to giant size to release Hulk, War Machine, and Rocket from the rubble. So he did say earlier, I'll be back. And he finally figured out how to do that, I guess. Doctor Strange returns to the battlefield, bringing with him all who had died in space fighting. Thanos, including Drax, Mantis, Teenage Groot, Peter Parker, Iron Man. Iron Man gives Spider-Man a big embrace. Yeah, they hug their little buddies and proteges or whatever. Yeah. In the battle, Iron Man asked Doctor Strange whether this is the outcome he foresaw in Infinity War. And when he said, there's multiple timelines, there's only one which they win. He says he can't say because if he tells Iron Man that it won't come to pass. Then Pepper Potts arriving in battle, decked out in Iron Man armor. Now this is the rescue suit. So I wanted to ask about this. Have we seen her? Is this the first time we see her as rescue?
Technically, I think there was bits in Iron Man 3 where she had parts of a suit on.
She did. But
no,
rescue,
it was
is
like
rescue something from the comics? Because I see
it's basically her
Snap.
name. Yeah, it's Pepper Potts in an Iron Man suit or an iron suit. And this was hinted at the beginning with Morgan, Tony's daughter, had found the helmet, and he'd hinted that it was a special present that he was making for her. And she never likes my presents anyway. And nothing about what we've seen of Pepper Potts makes anyone think she would enjoy having an Iron Man suit of her own. But
yeah. So, but in the comics, is there like a whole separate series of just Pepper Potts being rescued?
I don't know that she's had her own series.
Okay.
She may have had a mini series or something, but I know she has been in the comics as rescue.
Somebody's got to look this up.
Yeah.
Marvel Comics Rescue. We'll look that up. Because I didn't know what it was when I played it in Snap, but I like that Snap. That Snap power.
That's Pepper Potts in an Iron Man outfit.
I like that you get 4 if you play another card there. Anyway, Ant-Man reunites with Hope Van Dyne, aka Wasp, in this scene too. Ant-Man and Wasp realizing that the time machine in Scott's van remains intact, meaning that if they get the gauntlet across the battlefield to the van, they can return the stones and deprive Thanos of them.
That old shitty van. That's a great moment. It's in the middle of all this. They hit the horn, the cucaracha plays, and it's like that's so out of place in this battle scene, but it makes it great.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Anyway, Hawkeye passes off the gauntlet to Black Panther, who races towards the van while pursued by Thanos. And instantly at this point, I'm like, okay, finally, we put the gauntlet with somebody who's worthy of protecting it. Maybe we have a chance because Black Panther has it. Yeah, and then Star-Lord's kicked by Pass Gamora when he tries to embrace her, which is kind of a funny little bit because he loves her still. She hasn't. It's like, why him? I fall in love with him. Is this really the guy I end up falling in love with? That's kind of funny. And so your choices were either him or a talking tree.
Yeah,
it's just funny. Thanos being attacked and getting pretty well beaten up by a raging Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch. Now, and that kind of shows off like she's got some badass powers. Like I felt like she was almost going to beat his ass herself.
And she could have. She was about to, and then until Thanos has said "fuck everything" and bombed the shit out of everybody. That's fire.
Right? So she was going to defeat him. So I feel like this kind of tells us that she's maybe the most powerful. I mean, I remember
the Nexus big. she's the next big.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't get into that with WandaVision, but
Yeah, we find out.
it's also and Doctor Strange too. But like this is all like she's still sort of discovering her power. Like we up to this point, Infinity War, the whole thing where like she was or Civil War, where
One of
she
the
was,
wars.
kept she was sort of her accidental use of her power, like sort of that blew up the Wakandan embassy there, was a huge disaster for the Avengers, and so she's doesn't have the confidence in her powers. But now that she's in super rage mode, it's all there, and she's just rolling with it. And she was more concerned with protecting Vision and at the end of Infinity War, but now it's all there and all coming out, and Thanos doesn't have an answer for it without the gauntlet, so other than rain fire, blow up everybody, including our own troops, because who gives a fuck about them?
Fuck
Okay.
y'all.
So Pepper Potts has been known as Hera and Rescue at various points in her history. It doesn't really say if she's got her own comic book or anything, but
Yeah, I think she's just been sort of a supporting character in Iron Man books
yeah, she
for the
didn't
most part.
appear as Rescue until 2009, I guess. So
Yeah, that's relatively
okay,
new.
so that's relatively new. Okay, Black Panther passes the gauntlet off to Spider-Man, who gets an assist from Pepper Potts and Valkyrie on the way to the time machine, and Thanos order. And it was not a. I feel like there were some other ladies on that at that part, but
What
Almost.
in the
It's not yet. They're coming.
oh, it's the later part where it's like all the ladies
It's in a few seconds.
bound
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
When he
So,
calls
yeah.
Captain
Oh,
Marvel.
I see. Thanos orders his warship to fire on the combatants below, sacrificing even his own soldiers. That's right, because he's overwhelmed, like Andy just said. However, the warship stopped firing on those on the ground, start firing on something flying towards it. It's Captain Marvel making a return to Earth. That's right. She shows up and makes short work of the warships. Yeah, we think Wanda's a badass. Here's Captain Marvel, who's like super badass. And then Captain Marvel gets the gauntlet from Spider-Man. She's then surrounded by her fellow
And
female
pause
heroes.
because this is my favorite
This is the
part.
moment. Yeah.
This is badassery on the level of badassery will live forever when he's like, oh, how are you gonna get through them? And all the women show up and be like, we got her.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
a great splash page that dumb nerds are like, man, that's pandering. I'm like, shut up. It's a splash page. I always thought it was like a promise as well. Like, look,
It's the truth. It's not even pandering.
Yeah.
Let's go together on the battlefield. I'm gonna say it. I love you three to death, but only one of us is gonna survive a war, and her name is Tiffany.
That's true.
I
Definitely
cannot
the
argue that
baddest
point.
I would beg to differ, cause
Oh,
of who I am, man.
'Cause
I
you're
am
You can
inevitable.
beg to differ, but I'm gonna just remind
I
you.
am inevitable, so I'll survive. no
One
matter
of us
what.
served our country and is
Oh.
a little badass,
that's
even
true.
in her light.
I'll say what I love, even the fact that it's all these ladies. I love just. Oh, and I guess all of this has done this. Endgame's done this, and that was when you mix all the different characters from different movies together in one place that don't necessarily. If it's kind of weird seeing Nebula and Gamora next to, Pepper Potts and Shuri and Okoye, Scarlet Witch doesn't, Mantis,
And the Wasp, yeah.
Wasp, yeah, like Wasp is with these people. Like, I don't know, it's just like such a weird mix, and that's what I love. That's what like
It's your sisterhood of the traveling badassery.
yes, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I always thought that was like a promise, like this, that our look, we recognize that we've had only one movie with a female-led hero so far at this point, but we're gonna do more.
and
We
at-
hear you, we see you.
at that point, it was Captain Marvel because that had just come out. That was the only one, right? But now we've had
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah,
ScarJo's gone because she's gone. That's right, she's dead. She's not here because we've had her. We've had,
But we still go back and have her movie.
yeah, we've had her movie and then the Marvel.
Her movie technically wasn't out yet at this point.
Man,
No.
The Black Widow movies comes.
that's
at
right.
the-
Yeah, right.
Yeah, all the other women-led movies come later. I say it like it's 20 million. It's not, but it's more than what was.
Okay. I got a bunch of questions, but it's not about
Yeah.
this. This is not about this. This is about
Okay, no,
dumb things that have
keep
nothing
to
to
the
do with
movie.
this. So
Keep to
yeah,
the
we'll keep
movie.
doing. Let's finish the movie. We're almost done. As Captain Marvel is about to reach the time machine, Thanos shoots and destroys it. The gauntlet flies in there, and Thanos retrieves it. He slips on his hand and tries to snap. Slips it on his hand. Sorry, and tries to snap. This time, destroying all life, but is stopped by Captain Marvel. The duo fight, and as they do, Doc Strange gives Iron Man a sign that Tony must take action if they're to win the day. And although Captain Marvel
But-
overpowers Thanos,
There's a
Man.
bit here.
yeah,
What he does is he pops the power gem off of the gauntlet to concentrate, I guess, the power that he needs to knock her away, because he tries to headbutt her
yeah.
and she doesn't budge. So it's like, then I don't know if that's because like she's holding the gauntlet, maybe she's channeling some power as well, or maybe she's just that tough.
He flipped one of them off. I can't remember this now. I can't remember what he did.
It's real quick. It's like
Yeah.
half a second.
Oh, he uses
pops
the power
gem
stone.
off.
Yeah,
Power Stone,
He
yeah.
managed to use the Power Stone to increase
Focuses power
his
into them.
strength to knock her away. I see. Oh yeah, because he takes the power from that individually for a second, knocks her away, and then Iron Man then flies in and struggles with Thanos, but is flung to the side. So that, I don't know. At this point, I'm like, it's Iron Man. Like, where's all the?
There's also a moment between Iron Man and Doctor Strange before Iron Man flies in.
And yeah, and Doctor Strange is focused on this, preventing this flood from overrunning everybody. So
Yeah, but there's like a silent moment where they look at each other.
Yeah,
And he kind
Where
of gives
Tony
him,
looks at
yeah.
Strange looks at Tony while he's trying to maintain. But you can tell at that moment, you're like, okay, I got to do it.
It's all up to Tony. He's got to do it. And I think Tony's been careful up to this point because he wants to preserve his good, perfect life. But now he's got to do all whatever. But I thought it was all over because Thanos snapped his fingers, but nothing happened. And I was like, what? What happened? No, he looks down and sees Tony had stolen the stones off the gauntlet during the struggle, inserting the stones into his Iron Man armor, and made his own little Iron Man gauntlet. And Thanos bellows that he is inevitable. And Tony responds that he is Iron Man and snaps his fingers. And we know Tony can't handle this. We know he's killing himself, right?
yeah,
We all
because
know it at this point because we're like, oh, you can't
because
do
we
it.
saw what it did to Thanos when he destroyed the stones. It just completely destroyed his arm, and he was could barely use it anymore.
And
Hulk
Yeah.
also had the.
We know it and he knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's a sad moment where we know
And
they're
if you think about it, when Strange and him was talking, where it was almost like Doctor Strange he knew, he probably knew.
yeah.
So it's like him telling him, like, if I tell you, then it
Yeah.
won't. So it's almost like, well, will he still have the courage to do it, knowing he has to die?
That's right. 'cause
But that's
he's
why
gotta
I
be the
think
one.
they have that
That
few
moment,
seconds
right.
of
That
straight
moment.
eye contact.
So it's not only him saying it's time for you to do it, it's also like this is what I couldn't tell you type of thing. Yeah. But it's sad because now we know there won't be an Iron Man 4 and there will never be a Weird Science 2.
I think we're okay with that.
All right. Thanos then watches his entire army dissolve to dust. Iron Man wished for Thanos and his forces to be destroyed with nothing else changing. And Thanos sighs and takes a seat. Resigned to his fate, Thanos himself is soon reduced to dust. Now, if Iron Man would have just wished for more wishes, it would have been all set.
Wishes don't work like that, Joseph.
Iron Man collapses
That's a-
mortally wounded from using the Infinity Stones, and he's embraced by War Machine, Spider-Man, and finally Pepper. And Tony's wife assures him that she and their daughter will be okay and that he may pass. And then Iron Man dies and is not revived. Iron Man's dead forever, and there'll never be another Iron Man.
You sound like you're really rubbing it in hardcore.
I'm trying to see if Andy will cry, like he did when he watched Snoopy come home when we were kids.
It's okay that Andy has emotions. It's fine.
It is okay.
Yes, everyone has emotions. It's okay to share them.
Even Art Star.
I don't know if
He's got
Artstar
like 3
has
emotions.
emotions. That's up for
He's got
debate.
3 emotions, and they're all horny. That's not an emotion. Clint that art giggle makes me laugh. Okay, Clint reunites with his family, Scott with his, Peter sees all his high school buddies who somehow haven't aged, and that's a big mess up, I guess. And they return to life and embrace, or his high school friends return to life and embraces his best friend Ned. That's right, Ned should have aged. Anyway, T'Challa looks out over his restored kingdom with his family, including Angela Bassett, who's probably the greatest actor of all time.
Not probably, she is.
And she has like tarnished her reputation by bowing down and being in a Marvel movie.
No, she has not.
She was the most rumored person that plays Storm back in the day before they.
Yeah, she really was,
Yeah,
wasn't she?
she was.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Who should play Storm?" Angela Bassett.
Yeah,
Next.
everybody said that, right?
Them arms.
Yeah, and then I think
having her play a character with shock white hair like that, I think.
Do you think they made the hair white like that to be like a hey, assholes, we did it, you didn't do it, you messed up by not?
Probably not, but
No.
because she's playing an older character, playing Black Panther's mom. But
okay.
I think you can, just knowing that, you can look at her and go, yeah.
She would have been so good.
Great Storm.
Anyway, jumping ahead in time, the heroes are shown at Tony's funeral. Tony's daughter and Pepper watch a message Tony recorded for them prior to the final battle, where he professes his eternal love for them. Etched onto his heart monitor are the words, "Proof that Tony Stark has a heart." That was
which was
tough moment to watch.
And that was a joke from, I think, like the first Iron Man movie, when they had her remove the old arc reactor to update it to a new one. She had it sort of framed like that and said, "Proof he has a heart," just to kind of remind him that he wasn't entirely an asshole like he was at the beginning of Iron Man 1.
That's right. Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch console each other about the losses of Black Widow and Vision, although Scarlet Witch says she knows they're aware of the victory. Also at the funeral are Harley Keener, Aunt May, Happy Hogan, Maria Hill, Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Nick Fury. And that's when I asked you guys, who the fuck's Harley Keener?
He is the kid from Iron Man 3 who has grown up in the 5+ years.
I thought we talked about that.
We did. And that's what I was. I don't know why we talked about it though. I don't know why we jumped
ahead. You kind of jumped ahead.
I jumped ahead. I was like, who the fuck is that kid? And how would you know it was him? Because he looks completely different.
Yeah, he does. But that's for nerds.
Because he aged.
Nerds just all figured it out and talked amongst yourselves on
hey,
Reddit.
Nerds, remember this part of the MCU? Remember?
That was so-and-so Reddit.
And he's on the screen for a second and a half, so we don't really have to explain it and let the nerds explain it to the people who go, "Who's that guy?"
But Harley Keener doesn't
Why
become...
is he there?
Does he become some superhero or something?
Not that I'm aware of, but I think he was just written into the movie, but I'll take a look. And see
Yeah. Google it right now. Put your pants back on.
Horny Toad Man.
Maybe he does become Toad. Toad?
Horny Toad Man.
Horny Toad Man. Happy Hogan promised to look out for Tony's daughter. Thor
in the sweetest of moments.
Yeah, that was a very going to get some cheeseburgers. Your dad loved cheeseburgers.
Because that's the first thing he wanted when he got out of captivity in Iron Man 1 was an American cheeseburger.
Well, now you can see Happy and maybe Aunt May can like help get together and have a
they're
little
not
family
together at this point.
Oh, but Pepper's still there. Pepper can still be here with her daughter.
Yeah, Pepper's still mom.
Yeah, that's right. sorry, Pepper. You have to go make candles that smell like your vagina, and then go do that. Anyway, Thor returns to New Asgard because Asgard is not an ass place; it's an ass people. Valkyrie is anointed the new ruler of the Asgardian people, which is kind of cool. And then I want a whole movie or a TV show about Asgard, New Asgard, with Valkyrie being a badass. How about that? How about that for a pitch? Make it happen, TBJ.
Sure, I'm on it. I'm just gonna marry Tessa Thompson real quick and then convince her to make the movie.
Okay, Thor then boards a spaceship with the Guardians of the Galaxy, sans Gamora, who Star-Lord is searching for on the ship computer. As they take off, the crew recognize there is doubt as to whether Thor or Star-Lord is their captain. And Thor gives dubious assurances to Star-Lord that he is the captain. That's
That's
funny. Fun
funny
moment.
bit.
Yeah, that's always
Yeah,
fun.
everybody
Those two-
knows who's in charge. Me,
And
right?
Harley Keener was introduced to the Marvel Comics in 2021 after this movie came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Marvel Comics is definitely
Anything can happen.
happy to take some ideas from the movies.
Well, DC does. I mean, I think a lot of shows do that, movies and stuff like in the comics. Like they'll have a character that does really well on the television and cinematic side. Like, hey, let's put him in there. Like I think I've said numerous times back in the day in the early goings of our podcast, like how in the Arrowverse, Felicity Smokes starred in Arrow, and from Arrow, they actually introduced her character into the comics because it was like, oh, she's such a good fan favorite. Let's make her part of the Arrow universe in the comics and not let it be like, like how sometimes they'll have a movie or a show and they'll have like a comic to go along with it, or they'll get like Smallville. Like Smallville ended after season 10. Season 11 was a comic, but it was like literally she's in the DC universe as Felicity Smoke, and not like just because she was on the Arrowverse, even though she got it because she was on the Arrowverse. If that makes any sense.
I think that makes sense to everyone. Finally, a new time machine. Finally, a new time machine is built. Hulk, Falcon, and Winter Soldier are in attendance as Cap prepares to return the Infinity Stones to the very moment at which they were taken, as promised to the Ancient One. They send Captain America back in time, but are unable to return him to the present. Bucky then notices an old man sitting nearby, and he tells Sam to go check it out. Sam approaches and finds that the old man is Steve Rogers. He explains that he destroyed his time travel device after returning all the Infinity Stones, saying he wanted to try living life as Tony always told him to do. Live life. Sam exclaims that the world will miss Captain America, and Steve removes his shield from a bag and he hands it to Sam, anointing him as the new Captain America. And Sam notices a wedding ring on Steve's finger, and the film ends with Steve remembering his new past, wherein he married and grew old with Peggy. And the film ends with the two dancing and sharing a passionate kiss. Very sweet moment.
Indeed. And that's that raises a whole lot of nerd questions.
Yeah. Because the new timeline doesn't have Cap.
Yeah. So we've established that Steve Rogers going back in time. Yeah, he had to put the Infinity Stone and Mjolnir back exactly where they got him from, and so to preserve the timeline.
Right.
But then he goes back to the 40s, I guess, and lives a life that is a branching timeline. He can't change his own past, so this is a new timeline. But
he's in that timeline as an old man.
So that would means that the old man, Joe Biden looking Steve Rogers would have to have found his way back to this timeline in order to meet up with Sam at the end. And that was part of the plan from the get-go. I think Steve and Bucky were both aware of it. Steve had planned this with Bucky, but I guess they decided not to tell Sam about it until
to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
But then
Sam would have talked him out of it, yeah.
But this timeline then cannot have had a young Captain America in it, right?
No, this time
it
you
did
couldn't
have
change
it.
the past of the timeline. It's just that
he
Cap
lived his
and
whole
Peggy
life
are in a different timeline.
Yeah.
And
so then he
had to bank on having the technology
to find this
to
timeline
come back to this moment. And
we don't really know how he did that.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone wants us to think too hard about that.
Yeah, and that was my part. I got my brain started hurting and sap started coming through out of my nostrils because I was like, what's happening?
What's going on?
That just happens every other day.
Yeah, that's happens with everything, but it's really happened this time. And why it was maple turned that sap into maple syrup. Anyway.
Did you put it on pancakes?
I guess it was I did. That was a sweet moment though. So it was a neat kind of thing that
it's a way to give Cap a happy ending.
Yeah, give him a life.
Mm-hmm. And which is good because like most of his arc has been that he couldn't settle down anymore.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say most happy endings happen at massage parlors.
No. But yeah, like there's
I'm not saying any of that on this podcast.
there's the bit at the end of Avengers 2 where he's talking about how like stability and blah blah blah. The guy
Yeah.
wanted all that, went into the ice, and I think someone else came out. And then Ultron even teases him for saying shit like, "Oh, Captain America, pretending you could even live without a war." Like he can't function his personal life. I mean, he does mention to Black Widow once that I'm 90 years old, I'm not dead, which means he's been around. He's tried to do personal life stuff, but
Well, and he was, I guess, right? He was with a woman and her grandmother.
no. Well,
didn't he end
no.
up with his granddaughter for a little bit? He was having a relationship with
No.
her. She wasn't the granddaughter.
It was Peggy Carter's niece, Sharon Carter.
Niece Sharon Carter. I don't know why I thought it was her granddaughter.
Yeah, and they did have a kiss at one point,
but that's
which is
it.
weird. That's
Hopefully
as far as it went. And I think that made Sharon Carter bitter, or in part of what made Sharon Carter bitter.
Oh,
And
what
turned her
makes
into the
her
power broker.
turn
at the
bad?
Falcon
Power
Winter
broker
Soldier.
later. That's right. Okay. Then it says there are no mid or end credit scenes at the bottom.
No, there's got
So-
a real fancy credit sequence where
There weren't no mid or end credit scenes.
No, not on
Or
this one.
Tarnations.
no, they just had like the real fancy send off for the original 5 Avengers.
Oh, I
where
know.
like, they write their names. And
Yeah,
so
they
this
had their
is-
signatures and their silhouette.
Yep. So this is Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.'s farewell to.
This is their
the
farewell.
MCU.
They're not. Neither one of them are coming back, and neither is ScarJo, right?
Yeah. Although
Well,
she did
except
have the
she had
Black
her
Widow
other
movie
movie.
that comes out. Yeah.
I think I was confused because this was so good, and I'm so excited. I've already watched the next movie twice, and that's got post credit scenes. The Spider-Man
Far From Home.
Far From Home, yeah. Which
You love to skip ahead, but then you confuse your own self. When
that's
you do it.
why I haven't gone past that because I want to finish Falcon Winter Soldier and jump into Shang-Chi and all the other things, but I know I'll forget what's from what, so I can't do
Well,
it.
I
So-
think, are we not taking a pause from MCU just for a little bit?
I
after
think we
this one?
should, yeah.
And
jump
we're
in.
going to do a
I think we
couple of episodes. I do want to apologize if someone is listening. We said we'd do some holiday shows this year. We just didn't get to it with time. So if you were listening, our apologies. We
Well-
did not actually get to do holiday specials.
This is the 100th episode. Couldn't we assign one Hallmark movie and make us all watch it?
But
TBJ.
Can I say this real quick?
Yeah, you can.
Are
say
we going to
something.
see each other enough to talk before Monday? Monday is Christmas.
Oh, we can do it before New Year. It could be a special New Year episode.
True. I think we can all put in, maybe we all pitch a movie. We can either all pitch one and watch the same one, or we all watch a different one and come back and talk about it.
I
But
say you assign us one of your stupid, awful Hallmark movies.
I'm not assigning you anything you call stupid.
I was just
gonna say-
thinking we
I
could
was gonna
watch like
just
a
sit there.
regular ass Hallmark movie and then figure out ways to make it nerdy.
Poor Art.
I-
was trying
We
to say
can do
something.
that.
Listen, right. We're talking, but we like I figured we would finish Far From Home first before we take a break. Like it would seem weird to stop. I mean, I guess we could do a one-off, but like to literally take a
Well,
break.
we can have a meeting.
Oh, that's right.
How about we actually have a real life team meeting, which we haven't had in a while,
Yeah.
and just sit down and plot out what happens next. So we don't bore
Even though we
everyone
haven't
with
finished.
listening to them.
Even though we haven't finished the phase yet. Like
I think, yeah, we can sit down and talk about it.
I was just thinking since it's Christmas time, it's holiday time, but
it's Christmas.
but by the time I would get it out, it would be New Year's, and then it's all that. So yeah, we can just apologize for our 100th episode. We're gonna issue you all an apology, and TBJ is gonna say Excelsior.
Excelsior. For sure.
That's not happening. Not even for the 100th episode. Maybe for a few $100s.
Whoa.
So she's a soldier of fortune. She's a
Mercenary.
mercenary.
Listen, we need money
Jinx!
to live.
Yeah.
Well, what did you all think about Avengers Endgame?
It is a pretty goddamn impressive accomplishment.
It is. It is great, great.
If
It's
you
like the
c- I
big
mean,
kahuna. It's like what it all
there's-
was building towards.
Yeah. And with anytime you tell a story with time travel and crazy alternate timelines and stuff, you're going to get nerds going, well, I don't exactly see how this makes sense here, because then this over here would affect this other timeline. So you can over nerd anything, but just taking it what it is, it's an impressive build, 10-year 2009 to 2019 giant build to put all these movies together, all these characters together, and they pulled it off. They gave us a satisfying ending, which is kind of unbelievable. Like, how could you make that movie? Like, the expectations for that movie were through the roof, and the fact that it landed and they stuck the landing is very impressive.
Can anyone explain to me why
Impressive.
this isn't the end of phase 3? Like, why tack on another movie? Why not?
Because it's like an epilogue. It's like Spider-Man Far From Home has a bunch of like, all right, so basically bridging the catastrophic end of Endgame to a new normal that includes the blip, as they call it.
But I feel like Falcon Winter Soldier did that also. So
But
why
Spider-Man
couldn't
came out first.
But why couldn't that just be phase 4?
Us. I don't know. I often forget that we have one more Spider-Man movie to go, but
I mean,
it's worth it.
It came out in July. Is it because of the timing of it coming out? Like, Avengers Endgame was April of 2019. This came out in July, so is that why they don't classify?
No, they would
phase
have
4?
had a plan.
Well, I think the plan
we talked
was,
about this.
hey, Endgame is going to be the biggest movie. Let's make sure not to lose any of that buzz. Let's get another one out there because people are excited to see what's next. And
I also think we need a different feel, right?
Yeah.
Of the heaviness of Endgame versus, the quirk of Spider-Man. It has serious stuff, but also there's lots of banter in the land of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, if Black Widow is the first one in phase 4, that came out about the same time as it came out July 2021 also as Spider-Man.
No, that's 2 years later.
Oh,
yeah.
2019
because it was supposed to come out in
2021.
2020 in
right.
summer 2020,
Pandemic,
but then
It
disease
didn't.
happened.
Yeah.
Which, Andy, you currently have that said
I
disease.
currently have that disease.
Yeah.
Do you really?
I do indeed.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that.
It does suck, but I haven't. It hasn't been too harsh, or it's like a year since I had it last.
So it's like the flu now, right?
Hopefully, if you get the
Yeah,
Paxlovid early
different
enough.
variants coming back.
Is this your third time having it, Andy?
That was my second time, but
Okay.
I had just gotten the most recent COVID booster a week ago. And then a few days later, I test positive. Like, oh, if I only had gotten it a little sooner, maybe it wouldn't.
Well, for 100th episode, does everybody want to?
Wait, you still have to go through everyone's feelings of the
Oh yeah,
movie.
that's right. Just Andy.
You didn't even finish
No,
that.
that's
You
right.
got started.
Nothing more
He gave
but
his
feelings.
feelings.
All right, TBJ, what's your feelings on it? Well, we know you've been saying all along it's been hard for you to watch. So, in essence, is this a good movie or is it?
No, it's a great
is
movie.
that-
It's hard because it has a lot of emotions, and
Yeah.
sometimes I don't feel like crying. That's all.
Right. Like,
But that
who wants to
means
cry?
they've done a good enough job that you're invested in the characters.
Yeah, which is
Exactly.
excellent. No, it's quality, but I have a hard time watching things that I know are going to end in sadness.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I have to take it in bite size.
And then watch a
Bite-sized
Hallmark movie.
Chunks.
But
Yeah.
5 out of 5. Man, I watched like 8 this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Did you eat? Do you ever eat popcorn while you watch those, TBJ?
Not on purpose. I don't eat a lot of popcorn, but when I do, I'll pop some.
Do you cry when you watch the Hallmark movies?
Depends on the theme.
Isn't it usually
Some are cry worthy.
big city lady comes to small town and realizes small town life is
No,
better?
not all of them. First of all, this year, the last one I watched was 2 women falling in love. So boom.
Nice.
Good job, Hallmark.
Inclusive
Right?
Hallmark. Shouts out to Hallmark for being inclusive.
Yes, it
Mic
has
drop.
been actually a good inclusive year. And we've had people who are in the same town, not leaving their big city jobs. We also, because there's 2 Hallmark channels with 2 different vibes of Hallmark movies.
Oh my
We've
gosh.
had A Christmas Mystery, and then we've also had like family, long lost granddaughter adopted out with Felicia Rashad. So hello,
Oh,
Hallmark's
Felicia
on it.
Rashad. Hey.
Yes, she was in one.
I used to love Mama Huxtable.
Yeah.
She's an incredible actor.
Yeah, that's good.
She's
That's
still
good.
Although
defending Bill
I will
Cosby, though?
note that I do not approve of her message after the allegations against Bill Cosby.
I think I
She
seen
is
something
not a
not too
girl's girl.
Yeah.
long ago with the cast of the Cosby Show together,
Yeah, with
and
Bill
Bill
too.
was there.
Yeah,
You saw
with
that
Bill.
too?
I saw a picture of that somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all got together and were pretending.
Where? I need to
Denise
see
wasn't
this, 'cause
there
I
though.
do not
Denise
approve.
wasn't there.
Yeah,
No,
Denise
she
had-
hasn't been. She's been gone for a very long time. She'll never go back to that world.
I think what it was, Art. I think that picture resurfaced, but it was before all the stuff before he went to jail. and all that.
Yeah,
It was like a
pretty
10-year-old
tuned with
picture, I think.
stuff, and I have not seen anything about anyone.
Yeah, it was
Because in
around.
fact, most of the cast members were not on his side when the allegations came out. She was one of the rare people who.
No way.
Yeah, she had said some stuff like she thought it was like a conspiracy that to bring down a powerful black man.
Yeah, that hurt my feelings because girl, too much
I don't know,
evidence.
but she might have come around on that or something after he went to jail. Maybe, I don't know.
I hope so.
I mean, because shit was hard to believe, and if you're
Yeah.
really invested in Bill Cosby, I mean,
It
it wasn't
is.
hard to believe; it was hard to accept. Because
There you go.
it's a
That's
hard,
the perfect.
It's hard for people to
but
accept,
not
yeah.
hard to
yeah,
believe.
and especially if your financial fortunes are tied to this man, and
Well, and let's not pretend we're not in a world that targets successful black people.
correct.
So
Yeah, but we're also in a world that we can't excuse horrific things because some people get away with it. Everyone
Right.
should be taken down.
Right.
So what should have happened is the conversation of let's take them all down and not let's not take him down because
dang it, I keep losing TBJ.
I know, right?
right
all
as
my
she's like-
grand statements. Come
yeah,
on
your
now.
your grand statement's just and we're like
Like,
waiting.
it's like,
for you to finish.
right. It's like we're hanging on your every
Yeah.
word, and then it's like,
I was saying
Right.
what should have happened is everyone should have said let's take everyone down as opposed to let's not take him down because we're letting the white man get away with it.
see, we didn't get the white man part. Like
Yeah, we didn't get the white man part.
Yeah, we should. What happened
And
was
taking
everybody's
down,
like, "Oh no,
taking down the white
guy."
man should have been. We
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
definitely say
let's
that.
take
And
down.
certainly not electing him to
everybody.
Supreme
should have
Court.
Been, yeah, that should have been the response to that. Let's get them all. Let's excuse him. Like, no, let's take them all down. What does it take?
Okay. With that, Art Star, what did you think about Avengers Endgame?
I think this is a great movie. To kind of piggyback on what TBJ was saying, it's quite an emotional movie, and for me, as someone who's rebels in the dark side, like I know it was coming, and I know it's coming, and I guess it's because of my own. I don't want to say issue, but things with dealing with death. Like to actually, even though I know it's fictional, to actually see it, like, and then having the people have the like discussions, even like in Infinity Game, just like how Pete was like, "No, Mr. Stark," like him dusting away, that was tough. But like this movie, seeing Tony die and knowing that his daughter, his little girl, was going to be left all alone,
Yep.
was tough.
Well, she still got Pepper.
Right? Yeah, but
Pepper
it's
and
still,
Happy.
but
And
it's
Happy.
still like you could see the camaraderie between her and her her
Yeah.
father. So it's
Yeah.
almost like anytime I see a little kid lose a parent,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's like that's some tough shit.
Mhm.
So it's like it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to watch, but it's also like you're watching it and your eyes are welling up, right? Because you're like,
Yep.
this is I'm watching it. I know it's not real, but then you feel the emotion. So it's like it tugs really hard at the heart, the heartstrings, you know what I meant trying to say, but
Yep.
I like it. I love watching it. But like I don't know, every time I watch it, I get the same feeling. when Tony dies and
Mhm.
that stuff. So it's
Yeah, it takes us to a place you don't always want to
Right.
go to. So it's probably not one we'll watch very much in our lives. Maybe we will.
Then again,
But
there's so much cool shit that happens in it.
yeah, it's really
that-
cool.
You
I
just
mean-
need a palate cleanser after you watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you just watch the final battle. You don't watch the whole movie.
Yeah, it's a big commitment.
that's
Anyway,
why I play cozy games now, because I don't want to be as evil as I can and possibly am. Playing a cozy game helps cleanse my palate when I see
You say
something
a
like
cozy game?
cozy games.
What's that?
Games that aren't really violent as much.
Like
Games that are cozy.
like farm
like
whatever.
like an Animal Crossing.
Stardew
and,
Valley you're always talking about.
Disney
I
hold
can
hands and
start-
skip.
Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dream Bite,
Yeah.
yes. Or whatever.
Do not talk about Disney Dreamlight Valley. I will end you.
And I'm curious, Art, since you dabble on the dark side, would you be one of those dudes that has a shirt that says Thanos was right?
I would.
Okay.
Here, real quick. So, like, a lot of these cozy games that I've been playing, you have choices that you can make, right? And the choices sometimes reflect what happens in the game. So, like, I would literally sit there and be like, I'm not going to, like, I can choose, like, sure, I'll help you. But, like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm still like Hogwarts Legacy. I'm in Ravenclaw, but I'm learning all of the dark art secrets, right? I'm running around here, I'm helping out people, but I'm still doing darkness behind the scenes and shit, because I gotta be me. I
have absolutely no idea what the hell you're talking about.
But basically, you wish Thanos would have won this one.
I wouldn't say that, but if he did win, I wouldn't be mad about it.
That was Infinity War. You were not mad about that because Thanos won.
I mean, because I feel like Magneto was right, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I'll say Thanos is not wrong about the issue. I mean, that there is overpopulation and everybody's destroying all the resources and everything. But yeah, why is he the one that decides what happens?
He's the only one that has the will to do what's necessary.
Because he's inevitable.
Yep.
I mean, he's also got an ego.
And he lifts.
He-
You even lift,
he's-
bro?
Yeah, he's got a weird messianic complex for someone who wants to kill a lot of shit.
Yeah. Very weird. Anyway,
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
It's very interesting how much thought and care and depth they put into a giant purple dude
Yeah.
Who wasn't Barney or Grimace?
and with a nutsack for a chin.
Maybe Grimace was based on Thanos. Or Thanos is based on Grimace.
Oh shit! I don't know which one
When
came
right
first.
before he did the snap, he started saying, "I love you," and it just snapped.
I'm sure there's a edited version somewhere out there.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's done that. Anyway, for our 100th episode, now we're gonna go around the horn, and everyone is gonna tell a deep, dark secret they've never told anyone, and they're gonna put it out here on this podcast.
Nope, that goes behind the paywall.
Art is now gonna list off all of his sexual conquests.
That also goes behind the paywall.
Tom
yeah.
Cruise.
Those things away for free.
Oh, that's right.
I said Tom Cruise. Me and Tom Cruise back in the 80s. No, I'm lying. Me and Tom Cruise early 90s. I said back in the 80s. I was like, whoa. That wouldn't have been cool. But in
Well,
the early 90s.
Also, for the 100th episode, we're launching artstarsunderpants.com. You can get a pair of Artstar's podcast worn underpants. He takes them off and puts them in a bag, and we'll mail them to you. That's a new launch just for this.
Just so you're aware, Grimace came out 2 years before Thanos did.
Really?
Grimace came out in 1971, Thanos 1973.
So Thanos is a copy. a direct copy of Grimace.
He's probably more of a copy of DC's Darkseid.
So who would the Hamburglar? Who would
Robin? Wait, because they both have the same domino mask.
Wait, so
Penguin probably. I don't know.
All right, so this is. I know there's a big long list of DC and Marvel like copies. Is it always Marvel copying off of DC or not necessarily?
Oh no.
It goes back and forth.
Yeah. They
so
both.
Darkseid was first though.
Yeah, Darkseid was a Jack Kirby creation who was invented in 1970, and Thanos came a couple years later. Created
you
by Jim
also got to
Starlin.
realize back in those days, like even now, appropriation is big. But like back in those days, when you created superheroes, like a lot of the shit was just copy and pasted. So it's not, like you say, oh, they're copying this, they're copying. Like, no, well, most of these like, okay, we're gonna put a guy in some underwear, we're gonna give it a color, put on a shirt, put on a cape, and he's gonna be Superman. We're gonna have this guy, we're gonna put on some different color underwear, and blah blah blah. He's gonna have a different origin story. But if you look at them, they kind of look the same, just different colors, and their origin story might be different. So it was easier back then to create something that looked like something, because one, it's like Coke and Pepsi,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah,
we're making something for people to consume. Oh, this is hot, so this is what we're gonna make. Like Nike and Reebok. So like you're making the same thing, but you're kind of tweaking it just a little bit, and it still looks alike. Where the further along you get in history, it's like, okay, we've advanced more. We can tweak this a lot more, as opposed to like, hey, these kids will love it. Just slap on some tights, color underwear, and a cape, and we'll call them Bungee Man. You know?
Wasn't that
Bungie,
Ants and A Bug's Life came out the same year? Or
Yeah. It's stuff, and like they're different enough characters. Their circumstances are different, but they're similar because they're both giant evil space warlords that are huge and burly, and that have really strong chins. I think, but there's inspiration, but rather than it's a tough call to say what's a blatant copy and what's just inspired by.
what happened to Crystal Pepsi? Since Art was talking about Coke versus Pepsi.
I don't know. I think it's still around once in a while.
I don't think they make Crystal Pepsi.
I think they'll probably bring it back for. I think it's Pepsi's 100th anniversary or something.
It is
this year.
Really? So they're bringing it back? What happened to Zima? I'm just gonna name things.
They brought that back.
Pepsi's
Pepsi's 125th anniversary is
I'm just
this
gonna
year.
remind you all. Remember how we said our present to our listeners was to stay on the movie.
Well, we
Crystal
finished
Pepsi.
We did, and that's where we say goodnight and we give our listeners a break.
All right,
So
before we
come
go,
back.
our TBJ is gonna say Excelsior, and TBJ is gonna tell us if she's ever had Crystal Pepsi.
One, you have to give me lots of money if you want me to say that word. Two, no.
Oh, I did. Okay, I see an article on CNN that Crystal Pepsi is back in 2022. It came back. It's gonna.
I'm not a Pepsi or Coca-Cola girly, so I
Okay.
don't adventure much with either.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
TBJ,
like
why don't you recite a poem from Maya Angelou to send us out?
While I do love Maya Angelou, I don't think she had much to do with Marvel's Avengers Endgame.
So
I
you're
will say
refusing?
happy holidays to those who are listening, whichever holiday you celebrate, may it be full of family if you have it. If you don't, know that we love you. You're always welcome to be my family, because everyone needs some. And I hope you have some time reflecting and enjoying every bit that you can, even in this crazy, messed up world.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Ho 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 and a bottle of rum.
Yeah.
Andy's a hoe.
I'm a hoe. You know I'm a
I love
hoe.
how you ruined my perfect message with that.
I figured,
No.
I'll
just
Let's not ruin it. I was counter. I
No,
was
not
contrasting
you,
it.
Andy. Joe
I
called you.
thought once you finished, he was just going to cut it because it would have been perfect. Just
Well,
like
I can still,
ended.
I
It
can still
would've
cut it.
been.
I can still
And
end
then
it.
he was like, Andy's a hoe. Done.
Also, TBJ said Happy Holidays. And that's direct war on Christmas.
It is not. TBJ loves Christmas, but TBJ also recognizes that some listeners do not celebrate Christmas. So she's inclusive.
Yeah, Art. Apologize.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for listening to the Nerd Skool podcast.
They say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end racism. Proud of the pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems, Mr. Officer. Now they POTUS look like me, you gon' think again when seeing brothers rolling down the street. Every Martin Luther King on his American dream. Still a Rodney being beaten, screaming fuck the police. Me, I'm running through the pasture, trying to get away from master, but the dogs is on my ass, I gotta move a little faster. Can't pass for Caucasian, but I got a couple papers from the plantation saying I graduated. Congratulations, cool beans, but to most school mean trying to dodge STDs, living off government cheese. Trust the government, please. Not even if it was me sitting in the Oval Office as commander-in-chief, trying to give us free, but there's a nigga in my ear saying, you got it, Superman, you ought to keep it here. Get this distinctly clear, I'm all about jetting. Raps Kunta Kinte without the half-stepping. A new chapter, back with new lessons. After that, the final exam. Any questions?
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.
Excelsior.